Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here recording episode 174, and today we will be discussing and answering the age-old question, is college right for you, and should you go to college? There's a lot of factors to consider. On the surface, this may seem like a very easy yes or no question, but I definitely think it's a lot more complicated than that. So we'll be talking about, at least on my end, some of the advantages and disadvantages of going to college, and hopefully it'll help you make a decision. Or if you've already gone to college, maybe rethink your life in a positive or a negative manner, hopefully in a positive manner. So, without further ado, my partner in crime, my good buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hi, Chad. College is fun. That's also something to factor in, but we'll talk about that later.
Important
but for now,
factor right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is fun, Jared?
Spread a little love. Spreading love specifically to the Untranslatable podcast, which also happens to be our Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, or Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. And our, you can also give us 5-star reviews. That's what I'm looking to say. On iTunes and Stitcher. Spread a little love. Oh, hey, if you want to look at us, we're also on YouTube every now and again. Usually, I usually is what I should say. But
when the Wi-Fi is good when I'm traveling.
You never know where Chad's going to be. Speaking of where Chad's going to be, where are you right now? Because I see you have that Kuta shirt, but if I'm not mistaken, you're not in Kuta.
I'm in Seminyak, which is a northern part of Kuta.
Oh, so it's same city, different part of the city.
I'm not really sure how that works. I just know it's called Seminyak, and other than that, I'm not really sure. So yeah, it's called Seminyak. It's in the northern part of Kuta. It's a little bit fancier than downtown Kuta from what I've been told, but I will tell you, Jared, the majority of my time spent in Seminyak has been chilling by the pool.
I like fancy, I'll say that. Well, that's good to hear. Is it starting to feel like a bummer because you are on your final days? What, you have a day and a half left until you come home?
A day. I fly home tonight, and then I'm traveling for about 32 hours.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So
I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. This vacation's been great.
Me too.
But I'm ready to get back to Michigan. Cannot wait to see my friends and family, especially you, Jared. And yeah, should be great. I'm excited. Very excited.
That's great. You know, I enjoy doing those on the road again, by the way. It was great to learn more about Bali and Indonesia and whatnot. I was at work the other day. I know this is complete, but I was at work the other day, and my boss, he loves to travel, and he was just running. He ran in to the office, and he was saying, he was like, "Oh my gosh, I found flights for $240 to Paris, or excuse me, $290 to Paris from Detroit."
That's crazy. Is that round trip?
And he always does this. I think so. I imagine. He always does this where he'll say like these crazy flights, and I'll like look it up, and I'm like, yeah, all right. When, first of all, what airline? And I was like, this doesn't really fully make any sense to me. So I go home, and I looked it up. I was like, all right, let me see if I can actually figure out what this guy is saying for once. And I would say about 30 minutes later, I bought a ticket to go to Paris in May.
What? Cool.
And I'll say this. Well, me and my girlfriend bought the ticket. Well, she bought it, actually, because she insisted because of points.
Ooh, sugar mama.
I think she flexed her credit. Well, no, I'm definitely going to pay for it. She flexed her credit card on me. She's like, can I pay for that? I get actually good points with this. You have she credit card shamed me is what I'm saying. And she's right. Nice. Anyway. So like we really have no like when we were doing this, when we were looking at this, we're like we saw this. First of all, did not get it for $290, but I'll tell you how much it was because it's still insane. I got it for $340.
That's still great. I'm assuming the extra was for baggage. or for fees and stuff?
No. The extra was because I chose I chose a better timed flight, and I chose a different airline. So there are two airlines that had this deal. United for 330 maybe, and then Lufthansa for 344. And I'm like,
what?
I'm spending that extra $14 for Lufthansa.
Yep.
Yes. And so,
dude, that is crazy.
So,
how did you find it?
It was just in Google. I just typed in the flights, and I just typed in and what I did was I typed in to Paris because he said Paris, and then whenever he says this, my problem with it is I never know the time period to look for, and so what I did was I just went month by month. And saw what the prices were. Usually, they tell you roughly what it will be if you pick that day.
Right.
And in May, beginning of May, I found that price, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so we're looking at each other, and I was like, are we about to do this? And she was like, I think so. So we did it. And then after we bought the ticket, we're like, all right, we don't really want to go to Paris for our full vacation. We got we're going to be there for a little over a week. And so we were like, all right.
I'd say for that price, a week is justified.
But then we're like, all right, where are we going to go? At first, we considered Spain. She speaks Spanish. And we were considering Spain. And then we considered renting a car from Paris and driving to Cologne and then driving to Amsterdam.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Nice. Also would be awesome.
The thing that deterred us from that, we both love Amsterdam. She's never been to Cologne. I love Cologne. I think it's a great walking city.
Oh, yeah. On the Rhine River, gorgeous. I love Cologne as well.
Yes, and it's May, so the weather will be nice. The problem is, in Amsterdam specifically, parking is outrageous. Renting the car is actually pretty cheap. Renting the car is surprisingly cheap of parking per day, and it seems like it's about... now, we have listeners in the Netherlands. Hit us up if I'm wrong. But from what I've seen... the prices are going to be on average 50 to 80 euros a day to park. And it's just I'm not willing. That's our.
And you checked in the outskirts of Amsterdam where you could still get in by tram.
That's a good question. I don't know. But I'm going to say it might not matter because after that we thought about. Having a car in general is just going to be another thing to think about. It's going to be another responsibility. I don't think we want that responsibility, or I don't think I want that responsibility.
Not on a vacay, my man.
It's probably going to be manual, so I'm going to be the driver. I don't want to have that responsibility, even though it's not like we're going to be using it within the city. So we thought, all right, where else could we go where we could go to two cities, at least two cities, and not need a car or anything like that. And then we thought, how about Italy? So I think we settled on a few days in Rome, a few days in Florence. And then since our flight is back and forth between Paris, we'll go back to Paris and maybe spend a night or two in Paris as well. I think that's what we settled on.
I'm assuming you're taking the train then to Italy.
We'll probably fly to Italy. We haven't bought the tickets yet, but you can buy tickets for less than 100 euros to go there.
True.
And with how cheap the flight to Europe was, I think it's worth flying because it's way quicker, and the trip is not really that long. You know, if we want to do three cities, so I think it's worth it, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the on the road again of it. I meant to play this.
Oh, for sure. What site do you use, Jared, usually to find your flights?
Usually I use Kayak or Skyscanner. But for this, I specifically just used Google. And then from Google, they say what the prices are. Then you click on that, and they say you can get this price. You can buy this specifically from from Google, or specifically from Lufthansa or United's website or whatever.
Right.
And so usually, I've never really found. I don't think I've ever found a flight through Google. Like, I've used Google to look at I use Google for flights pretty often, but I use it to look at what prices are like. And then usually I'll go to something else like Expedia,
just to compare,
or Kayak or Skyscanner. But that gives me a good idea of timing wise what I'm looking at.
Right. Right.
But I mean, Google is probably I don't know. It's got to be similar to using like Kayak or something at this point. Google is taking over everything.
I would assume so. Yeah, more or less. You know what's crazy? Speaking of Google, I have a buddy that was a teacher with me in China. He was an English language fellow, and he has a Google phone. And you know what's crazy about the Google phone that he has, Jared? He can go anywhere. Pixel. I don't know how this works, but he can go anywhere in the world, and he has cell service. No idea how that's possible. But he has internet.
Because of the phone?
Yeah. He's internet. He also has a VPN installed in his phone. Like, you know, I have some VPN apps for while he was in China.
Sure.
But yeah.
Wait, but does he need cell service in general to use that phone? Like, what about when he's in the U.S.?
Or maybe it's just internet. I'm not sure how it really works. But he told me wherever he goes, he can use that phone, doesn't need to buy a new SIM card. He has had his American SIM card in his phone since he got to China in August.
Maybe that's just his plan. What kind of plan does he have? Maybe he has some sort of amazing plan.
No idea. Okay. But he told me, made it sound like it was the phone.
It was the phone doing that. You made it seem like it was the phone, too. I just don't understand how a phone could give you that kind of capability. Outside of, like, through Wi-Fi or something, that makes sense. I used to have a phone, actually, way back in the day, which is weird because I haven't had this in a long time. I used to have a phone when I had T-Mobile that was capable of Wi-Fi calling. So I could text, call, and use... And obviously internet, it was Wi-Fi. But I could text and call normally with T-Mobile through Wi-Fi with something they called Wi-Fi calling, whatever that was.
Okay. It wasn't that, though, because the whole reason why this came up, Jared...
You still need a Wi-Fi, though.
Right. The whole reason why I bring this up is... I had to go, get an Indonesian SIM card when I got here if I wanted to access the internet and be able to send you all these beautiful pictures from Bali and contact my friends.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, I was like, aren't you going to buy a SIM card? He's like, I don't need it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I can access the internet and call and do everything I need with my Google phone. So
I've heard about those Google phones. Don't seem to be as good as the iPhones, but they seem to be very good. And someone like, would you be willing to go away from iPhone? The problem is for you, I know I didn't even give you a chance to answer, is there is a lot of benefit to iPhone because
because
so
of
many
the
people
iMessage
you interact with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So like that's
of
the problem
all
with
of
me
my
for,
friends,
like,
I can think of Android users probably on one hand.
Same. You know, it was actually funny. I was looking at text messages I've sent. I just happened to log into like my cell phone account, and I'm on a family plan with my parents. Both of my parents over the past month, give or take, have sent a little over 1,000 text messages. I looked at mine. I've sent 86 in the same amount of time that they've sent about 1,000.
That's crazy. Oh wow, that's wild.
Essentially, everyone I communicate with is using an iPhone.
Right.
I'm almost never clearly I'm almost never texting, and so,
I'm sure Apple's happy to hear that, Jared. The unofficial sponsor of the Untranslatable
we are not
podcast.
Paid, unfortunately.
But Apple's had some difficulties now with the coronavirus. It's really hurt their production numbers.
A lot of companies
from what
have.
I've read. Yeah.
I mean, that's most companies that have production happening in China, which is most major companies.
Right.
It's really cut into the supply chain, and the thing is, even if that company specifically doesn't produce whatever their product is in China, there's a good chance some component that they buy
absolutely
comes from China. Like some part of the product they manufacture is coming from China, so it is affecting a lot of people. A lot of companies.
Oh, big time.
I mean, not really
big
people,
time.
but...
right.
But yeah. Hey, do you want to spread a little love?
Absolutely. You know what has been affecting a lot of people in a very negative manner, Jared? Racism in soccer or football. But...
that too.
I
saw
some
that,
good
dude.
news.
Don't tell me you're about to tell me about this. The thing that just came up, the dude that was walking off the pitch because
this might be a different one, but a similar story. So
okay. The one I'm thinking of made me mad.
Right. So this happened between a game between Preußen Münster and Würzburg, and So a fan, I guess, I'm not sure if it was a Münster fan or a Würzburg, I think it was a Münster fan, began making monkey noises to a Ghanaian player, which is a really big problem in soccer right now. And there's a lot of different things you can read up on racism in soccer or in football, as everyone else in the world says. And the crazy thing, not crazy, but I guess the Münster and Würzburg fans had the right reaction. They began chanting Nazis out. I'm assuming Nazis raus.
Interesting.
And the dude has now been arrested that was making the chants. So I think this is awesome. And then the president of Preußen Münster said it's not something that belongs on the soccer field and certainly not in our stadium. We want and need people like that here, meaning people to point out these terrible racist people and get them the hell out. So I think this is super awesome, and I want to send lots of love to all the fans of Preußen Münster and Würzburg.
You betcha.
And the president of Preußen Münster for doing this. I think it's really great. And then the player, I'm going to try to say his name here, Quadwo, said, "I am one of you. What he said was, this makes me sad, even though I have a different skin color. I was born here in this wonderful country that has given me and my family so much and made things possible. I'm one of you. I live here, and I'm able to live out my calling and passion as a professional Würzburger Kickers player." So something like yesterday just makes me sad and angry, because everyone should know racism does not belong in our world. We all have the opportunity to tackle it and prevent the whole thing from happening. So I think that's great. Also, shout out to the player for making such a positive statement, and I couldn't agree more. So yeah, so sending lots of love to everybody involved in that.
You betcha.
And everyone who stands up to racism in soccer and elsewhere.
It's interesting that you mention how prevalent this is in soccer, because a huge story that I saw trending on Twitter over the past couple days, it's not really anymore, this was maybe 2 or 3 days ago, was about a soccer player that plays for FC Porto in Portugal named Moussa Marega. And he was, I believe, I don't know who he was playing against, what team they were playing against, but I think it was like a Portuguese league. He suffered racist monkey related, he's black player, suffered racist chants from the crowd, and he got sick of it, and he's like, you know what, I can't, I'm sick of this. And he was yelling at his coach to sub him out, and he was walking out off the field. He's like, I'm not playing like this, sub me out. And his teammates kept trying to get him not to stay on the field and not sub out, and everyone was and there was pretty mixed on the field, pretty mixed on social media about whether he should have walked off the field or not, whether he should have stayed strong and played through it, or whether his teammates are assholes for not supporting him and trying to get him to stay on the field and keep playing when people are yelling racist shit at him.
Right. It's a difficult situation. Yeah, it's tough, and I think for a lot of people, it's hard for them to really. I mean, even I feel like a hypocrite even really commenting on this, because I've never really experienced that level of discrimination. So it's so it's hard for me to say, but I do have to say that I think, regardless what his decision was, I think we should support it. It doesn't matter whether he wants to stay on the field or be subbed off. I do remember reading about this was years and years ago. Kevin Prince Boateng, I believe he was playing for AC Milan at the time, and the coach said, to the fans and the people out there, he said, if you guys continue this, we straight up we'll forfeit the next game. So I think that's
it's happened all the time. I remember stories of it happening to Drogba when he played in Italy all the time. Right. Like it happens. Unfortunately, it happened. We talked about it. Actually, I think literally our first episode. It happened during the World Cup with the Swedish player from that is has Turkish heritage.
Right. That's right.
And he missed some free kick or fucked up some play in a crucial play for Sweden in the World Cup, and then immediately it turned racist. Because then I remember we were talking about how Özil was talking about how he stands with them and how he's no longer playing for the German national team because the same thing happens. You know, he turns in, you know, when he's playing well, they're proud of their German player. Then as soon as something goes wrong, he's you know, he's just some, you know, Turkish guy.
Right. Yeah. And, yeah, it's no ridiculous.
Real respect there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a shame, but anyways, proud of everybody.
Shout out
in
to the people that do support.
Absolutely.
The players when they're in that situation. So
absolutely. Well, Jared, I think you know what time it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. This is the untranslatable hour, signifying it's time for some untranslatables.
You better believe it. Can I get us started?
Because
yes,
because my computer went to sleep.
Yes, I can. So, Jared, I thought it would be fun to give you a couple German ones because when I think of our college time, German always comes up since both of us majored in German. Wrote more papers in college in German than I did in English. So, anyways,
I definitely did too because my other major was business. And
do you want a German one or an Austrian German one to start with, Jared? I'll let you choose.
Let's go German first.
German. Okay, here we go. Da guckst du dumm aus der Wäsche. And you can translate it for our listeners out there.
I don't know what Wäsche means, but I know all the rest.
Die Wäsche.
You look dumb in...
You know die Wäsche. Die Wäsche waschen.
Die Wäsche waschen? Oh, you look dumb in the bathroom?
No, there you are looking stupid out of the laundry. Laundry. Wäsche. Laundry.
Oh, laundry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, all right, you look stupid out of the laundry? Okay. Is that like someone that's just dumb? Doesn't understand, very gullible?
No, it would be like if we went into our German class and you were always a very prepared German student. I usually was. But maybe we sit down in our German class and our awesome Professor Perry, he says, all right, close your textbooks. We're going to do a pop quiz. And then you look at my facial expression.
Caught out in the wind. Kind of like unexpected.
Just surprised.
Like, what the hell is this?
Unexpected and surprised. This. Exactly.
Okay. I did not know Wäsche was laundry. Like I figured it was something to do with something that had been washed. Like I knew that was the case.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds like something related to being washed, but I have no idea what that word is. Anyway, my first untranslatable is Sicilian, and it goes peso di carne culotti. Now I know this isn't Italian specifically, but I am now trying to spruce up on some Italian before I go there.
There you go.
Maybe I should have switched to Italian words of the pod, so I could get some prep.
We could. Yeah, let's do that.
I'll try to make it more practical to maybe some phrases, some stuff I could learn for when I'm there.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay, let's do that.
Sweet. So, I'm guessing that last word means pants?
No. Peso de carne. You know carne, though.
Meat?
Yes. Culotti. A piece of meat with eyes.
Oh, with eyes. Piece of meat with eyes.
Yeah, loci is eyes, I guess.
Okay. I was thinking culotti would be like sans culottes, which is French, right? Like without pants. Isn't that pants? No?
No, pantalon is pants.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. This is why I'm not a French teacher, Jared, nor a French student. All right,
a piece of meat with eyes. Meat is with my Sicilian untranslatable for you.
Piece of meat with eyes. Is it like? Is it like a?
Think about
like a gross.
No. Think about calling someone a piece of meat. What is that?
It's saying someone's attractive. Someone's attractive.
No. But no. See, I like where your head's at. And I feel like when you hear what this is, you're gonna be mad at yourself.
Is it someone who's really buff or really strong, or like has a nice physique?
You're on the because you're on the right track. Think meathead, but what other qualities does a meathead have other than being ripped?
Good question. What other qualities?
Negative
do they
qualities,
have?
maybe. What other positive or negative?
Oh, you're not smart.
Qualities is
you're not smart.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, not person. Smart.
A piece of meat with eyes. Just an idiot.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm going to give you the Austrian German one now. I need to brush up on my Austrian German. Here we go. Die Arschkarten ziegen. Die Arschkarte ziegen. Sorry, die Arschkarte zeigen. To pull the ass card.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ziegen, not
pull
not ziehen, but ziegen.
That's the translation. Technically, it's to pull the ass card, wouldn't it be?
Die Arschkarten ziegen. Yes, to pull the ass card or butt card. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like to be like, I don't like to say, I have no idea, essentially? Pull it like this.
No, I think we use a straw or a short stick for this.
Like you're the unlucky person to get drawn, essentially.
There we go. Yeah, to have bad luck. Yes, to have bad luck.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense. You pull the ass card.
Right.
Okay. I have another Sicilian one, and it's Nenti mirata a manu como ime unga. Nothing scratches my hand like my own nails.
So it's like you gotta, if you want a good job done, you got to do it yourself. No. Okay.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it
what
to
does
you.
It mean?
The definition or the explanation they give is no one knows my business better than I do. I'm gonna give that to you though. I think it works.
All right.
I think it works.
That's fair.
The judges agree.
All right, I'm going to give you one last one before we get into our main segment about college, Jared, because I think this one is fitting regardless whether or not you go to college. I hope I don't steer you the wrong way with that little hint there, but here we go. This one is Spanish, and it is echacale ganas, which means insert desire.
Insert desire? Ooh.
Echacale ganas.
Is it like learn your passion, know your passion? What are you passionate about?
Not quite. Not quite.
Find what you love. No, that's the same thing. I think also now I'm thinking of it way too college related too. Is that a problem?
Yes. Well, Jared, I would say regardless what you do in life, college or not, you just have to do this in order to succeed.
Roll with the punches.
Nope.
Try
you gotta
hard.
try your best. Try your best.
What's the literal translation again?
Insert desire.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Insert desire. Yeah. Yep. All right, well, Jared, I think it's time we talk about our main topic of today's episode, which is, should you or should you not go to college? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I think you should. I think if you can, and you... No, okay, see, now I take that back. Now that I think about it, there are a lot of factors. Okay. At first, I was just going to be
it's a complicated question.
I felt very confident in this saying. It's like, yeah, you should. But I'm saying, well, let's put it, can I say, is it safe to say it doesn't hurt to go to college? Except financially. There it hurts very badly.
And time.
Yeah,
that's true. If you spend 4 years or 8 years or 12 years, if you become a doctor.
Let me put it this way.
Going to school.
I figured it out.
Okay.
I think it's becoming increasingly harder and harder to make a good wage without a college degree. Now, obviously, there are people that are like, oh yeah, no, you can become a plumber and they make good living or something like that. And I'm sure that's
an electrician
true.
or
But
right.
I guess I would need to know, what's the process to making that good money? Is it starting your own business? Because then we're talking about something different, I think. Because then you also have to factor in all the people that have started failed businesses, you have the obviously there's the opportunity, but like, how much do you make? I wonder. I guess we can just Google it. How much? And I hate to use plumber. That's so rude. It is.
Why is it rude?
It's just seems like a generic.
People. What Jared means is, I think, learning like a trade, like carpentry.
It just seems like the go-to sort of comparison for college.
I think they can make about 80,000 US.
What I'm seeing on salary.com is the average is 43 to 73 per year.
Oh, 73. Okay, but that's the top of the
exactly.
average.
It's like you really pointed out that 73.
So that's a couple years experience. Yeah.
So all I'm getting at is, I feel like it's harder to get a great profession without college, unfortunately. And I think that didn't.
I think most. Yeah, I would agree.
I think that didn't used to be the case. Like, for example, didn't used to be the case as much. For example, we're from Michigan. That. We have all the big car companies here in Michigan, and I feel like it was definitely more realistic that like the wage that you made from making a car, like it seemed like, listen, this is not based off a fact or anything, but it seems like back then that was like, that wage gave people like a good good living,
healthy middle class living.
Yeah, and you had like two cars in the driveway. Your kids, went to public
your white
school.
picket fence.
Your wife didn't have to work, or your husband didn't have to work or whatever. It was wife. We're talking about the 50s and 60s, people. Okay, I'm just talking.
Right.
But anyway, like your spouse didn't have to work. And you could just come home from your factory job at the end of the day and be like, I brought home chicken. I don't know. I was going to say steak, but maybe that's a little too far.
Is that what people do?
I was going to say steak, but that might have been that actually might be a splurge. But, so I would say, I think it's becoming more, necessary. The challenges though, and people say that, and I agree, people don't know what they want to do with their life, and when you're in college, and it's kind of ridiculous to have to decide your future at 18, 19, 20, roughly around there. And I don't think I got it right. I got the right general area, at least so far I think, but I didn't get I started in finance and I did not enjoy that at all. But
I feel like I've made a weird trajectory as well in a way too.
But you still
going from,
you knew you wanted to be a teacher, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I did it. Well, depends. If I continue teaching at university, then I guess it made sense. But if I want to move on to middle school or high school, I'm gonna have to go back and get a teaching certificate after 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of grad school.
Right. You're like, it's going to feel a little beneath you almost. You're like, this is my master's.
I don't know if I'd say that. It's just I don't know if I want to spend the extra time
for you. Right. The only thing about, I think my only counter to that would be, even if you don't go to college, let's say any normal person. I'm not talking about someone that has a family money or something, but you still kind of have to decide what you're going to do. Now, maybe not for the rest of your life, but you still have to realistically, get a job of some sort. And so
need some type of plan.
Yeah. And so it's not like it's, and so I think it's smart to have a plan. I think it's smart to generally have a even if you're not writing stuff down, an internal 5-year plan to sort of.
No, I say write it down, Jared.
Yeah,
there's something about seeing it, on the paper or on that laptop. Write it down.
That.
Yeah, doesn't have to be college, but some type of plan is always good. That's for sure.
Like the big boss of my department at my job, she just got the job. couple months ago, maybe like 5 or 6 months ago. And when she first started, she gave us all, she didn't give it to us, but she said, on my desk, I have these little small notebook things. They're probably they're little flimsy notebooks. And she's like, you're welcome to take them and use them as gratitude journals. And so I took one. And so far, I have like 4 things written down in there. But like,
you've been gratituding?
Yeah, but I don't do it that often. But like once a month, I'll just pull it aside and like, for example, when the reason why I thought of it is because the last time I wrote in it was when I booked that Europe trip I told you about.
The ticket?
Yeah.
Nice.
I wrote,
nice.
I'm grateful to be able to take vacations like this. But yeah, I think you need a plan regardless. So in a weird way, I think, now obviously just because you're not going to college doesn't mean you can't have a plan. Plenty of people don't go to college and have an exact plan for why they're not doing that or of how they're going to make money.
And sometimes it's better to not go to college, depending on what they're doing.
But I think there are also a lot of people that postpone life a little bit or just like float by or get comfortable in something that's not really either what they like,
what they want,
or what they're passionate about. It's just some job that they happen to find themselves in for a long enough time where it's like, yeah, I can support myself with this, but it's like, I don't really care about it. I'm just good at it now because I've done it for long enough or whatever. Okay, so
I will say,
go ahead, please.
Sorry, let me just mention, I will say too about going to college, even if you don't do something directly related to what you studied, I'm sure there's still plenty of skills you've learned along the way. And I think one thing we also have to mention about college too, Jared, is all of the stuff you learn about like networking, being social. I think that also is really helpful in the future, depending on what kind of career you want to have.
I agree with you, Chad. I think that I actually agree with you so much that I wrote down that my business program specifically did a great job of preparing me for getting jobs and for professional life. And it really had less to do with the classes and more to do with what that offered. So through that, I had resume assistants. Someone that would read your resume, tell you how to fix it, tell you what was wrong with it, tell you where to fix this, change that. We did,
which is super important to know how to do. And I feel like out of high school, I had no idea how to do that.
Yeah, I'm lucky because my parents are very good at that stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, I was terrible at it too, for sure. I think I'm just starting to get the hang of it. I take that back. No, I got it. No, I think I'm just starting to get the hang of it. No, like on the last job I got, during the layoff was kind of the first time when I really did it without relying on someone to check it for me, where I like actually felt comfortable with it, even though I didn't ask someone to check it. Still I did have people check it. Let me just be clear. I just didn't feel like I needed it.
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, we also had mock interviews. So they actually invited.
Those, I remember those. Those were super helpful.
They invited like alumni that were in the area. And the alumni were business people in various professions, different kinds of professions, and they just interview us like they were going to hire us for a position. And we did like 3 or 4 of them in the matter of a couple hours or whatever. And then they gave you so you did the interview, then they'd give you like 5 minutes of feedback on how you did or something. Now that was invaluable for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Go ahead.
What are your strong points and your weak points, Jared, in your job interview skills?
I think, a strong point that I just learned that my dad pointed out to me was that being succinct, knowing when to end a question. Now that I've listened to other people,
that's crucial.
Like not just wandering on it, like knowing, all right, I said it and you're done, and then sitting in that. That was something that helped me. What else am I good at?
You just gotta think, Jared, when you finish your sentence, all you gotta think is, yeah, I said it.
I'm also
there you go.
Yeah. Booyah. Do one of those like sort of on the nuts things.
Exactly.
I also have a profession that I'm in a field that I'm very good at. So I'm just like very knowledgeable in it, even if not great. Not that I'm not great at the position, but I'm very knowledgeable about the field, so that helps too. I think more than the average person, just because it interests me. It's cars. Let's be honest. I don't know who am I fooling here.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I don't really know. What do you think you're good at in interviews?
Oh,
you didn't think I'd ask you that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I figured
4
you
minutes
would,
to
but
think
you
about
never
it.
know. I don't know, Jared. I guess one of the things that I think my strength as an interview is, maybe this is a weird answer, but I feel like we usually have a good conversation.
I mean, that's important.
Like I usually learn,
because interviews not just figuring out how good you are I mean, it is, but like part of it is seeing how good you are is interacting with the people. It's like we're gonna be coworkers. How does this person interact with me, and how would I imagine them interacting with all of the other coworkers?
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, this person's good, but they don't seem like a good cultural fit. That I've heard that. Sometimes hearing that makes me a little uncomfortable too, because I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but that seems like that's a line. That's a scary line there.
Right. Yeah, it's very subjective. That's true.
I think I have more things, though.
I think another...
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, one last thing I want to mention, sorry, about the interviews is I think it's important to provide like real-life examples. Of if you're answering a question, try to give more information than... Like, this is kind of like what you said a little bit, where you want to provide enough information, but also not too much and talk too much.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that was great was both of my majors. I double majored in business related stuff and German. My
Deutsch.
My business program required 2 internships. However, if I had another major like I did, German, that required a study abroad, instead of doing an internship, you can replace that for a study abroad. So I did 1 internship and 1 study abroad, at least through that program. And the fact that was forced, when you first hear that before you start college, it sounds a little intimidating. One, it got me paid doing something other than just like the other summer when I worked at a golf course or the other summer when I, worked in a warehouse. Like it actually got me paid and with something I could put on my resume. That was great. And then obviously I got to study abroad. How awesome is that?
Hard to beat that, Jared. That's for sure.
Another one, obviously, socializing. Like, I think that there is something to that, but I think that that's also a little stupid. I think most people go into college either knowing how to socialize or not, and how much is that really changing? I don't know. I think there are plenty of people that didn't go to college that are
I think you can
cool.
refine your socializing skills, Jared.
I
think you can definitely do that.
Sometimes you do hear like those people that don't move away from home, they don't seem to progress. Their personality doesn't seem to progress. They don't seem to grow up.
They peak in high school.
Those peak in high school guys. Is that what you're trying to suggest, Jared? Yeah, who are like the stars of their hometown, but it's like Trevor Wallace, this comedian, has a funny Instagram clip about that, where he's like hanging out at the local bar and he's like hitting on like girls that are back for Christmas or Thanksgiving or something like that.
Oh, that's funny. This isn't high school anymore, Trevor.
So I think they're actually, I think there is actually something to. You can learn something about yourself by having another time to be sort of a fish out of water, to be meeting new diverse crowds, even if it's not, it doesn't have to be racially diverse, but just diverse meaning different people.
Right. Sure.
And so, yeah, I think there's something to that too. So you seem to.
What else do you have on the checklist though, Jared, for should or should not go to college?
Should or should not go to... Okay. Oh, you have to be prepared for massive debt. Most people. That's sort of just an expectation. Unless you get some sort of massive scholarship or your parents can spot you tens of thousands of dollars, which most normal people can't.
Right.
Another thing that I think is unfortunate but true, especially as I mentioned earlier, that I think now it's harder to make a good living without a college degree, is that I feel like there is a lot of judgment placed upon people that did not go to college, even if they're doing relatively well. Like I think it even goes
I think that's an American thing, though.
You think so?
I'm not sure if it's like that all over the world. Yeah, I think that might be a kind of an American thing.
Okay, well, that's all I know. So when I lived in
because
Europe,
like I know a lot of people in the Czech Republic that some went to college and some didn't, and I don't think people.
What kind of jobs? I don't think
people look at them the same way. I knew a couple people in the Czech Republic that didn't go to college and like owned their own businesses and had other. Were working like pretty high up in like a factory position, like a manager.
Okay.
Something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think for me, Jared, on my checklist, I would have, does my future career or job require a degree? A lot of the times this will be yes, as you've said, Then number 2, if it requires a degree.
No. I'm going to say number 1 is, do you want to go? Uh-huh. That's got to be number 1. Don't go if you're just trying to please someone, like just because your parents say you're supposed to, especially if they're paying for it. Do everyone a favor and be like,
easier said than done, though, Jared.
Sure. I mean,
easier said than done.
Obviously, my parents were one of those like it's not a question thing, but I was also I wanted to also.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, number 1's got to be, do you want to go? Because it's a large investment.
Mm-hmm. Yep, time and money-wise, especially money, at least in the States. Yeah. In other countries, though, it's not always as expensive.
Yeah, still a time investment.
Germany, you pay what, $200 to $400? True.
Yeah, I mean, the most you spend for college in Germany is like what, like $1,000? But that's like the most. I feel like.
Right. I think so.
Hold on, I'm going to tell you.
I'm not sure. There are other countries too where
college in Germany. Let's see.
It's probably private. It's a private one, I bet you.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, of course, it's private though. But wouldn't it? Let's see.
I mean, public ones aren't going to cost that much, and at least in Germany, public universities are pretty good, pretty reputable places.
All right. Well, that didn't go.
While
anywhere.
You're looking at that, I'm trying to think of other stuff. Yeah. Do you want to go? Obviously, is the key.
Yes.
For sure, Jared.
Yeah. Then you said, does it require it?
Yeah. So if you want to go. Do you have an idea of what you want to do, and does that require a degree? Because I think it's the other thing with college is you may look at classes and then decide to take classes you're interested in, which is great. But will that help you with the career you want to have, or do you even know what career you want to have?
Dude, I still don't.
And for some people at 18,
I still don't think I know what I want to do.
It's difficult to answer.
Like, I feel like I find myself...
Podcaster, dude. What are you talking
dude,
about?
I would love that.
You're doing it.
I would love that. But I don't... but if I... Anyway. Because, like, I feel like I find myself getting closer to understanding what it is I'd like to do. But, like, I just know generally what I want to do, And I know what I like. And it's like, ideally, this is what I would be doing. But it's like, I don't know how to get to that at all. But I feel like I'm getting closer and closer, ever so slightly. I can feel it.
Baby steps and patience, my man. That's all it is.
But I still don't really know what it is.
That's all it is.
Because it's like, yeah, because it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if I think about the ideal of it, it's like, oh, yeah, no, I'd love to be like the host of Top Gear, the TV show, where I just travel around and
that'd be pretty
drive
cool.
Different amazing cars for a job and get paid millions of dollars.
That would be awesome. That'd be sweet. Guitar tester.
Yeah, guitar
That'd be pretty
tester.
Cool. I'd be okay with that.
Is that a job?
It should be. I mean, you probably have to be a builder to be a guitar tester.
Yeah, because you have to know. You have to know what's going wrong with it and know what went into building it to know what's going wrong with it, I guess.
Or maybe guitar reviewer. How about that? Like the dudes on the YouTube channels that just review guitars for YouTube channels.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. But you don't have the have the chutzpah to start and manage a YouTube channel by yourself. I see you with this podcast.
True.
You would never make a consistent YouTube channel and come out with videos on a consistent basis. I have a list of listen, I don't like doing this to you, but I still remember you telling me that I need to roast you more. And so I'm just doing this for you. I have the list. I'm just blaming it on you now, like some sort of abusive, some sort of abusive
this is your
relationship. You brought this on yourself.
Right.
The 25.
It's kind of like going to college, Jared.
The 25 best jobs that don't require a bachelor's degree.
Is plumber on there?
We'll see.
Plumber's on there, right?
ophthalmic medical technician. The median.
If you can't say it, you got to go to college for it.
It's assistant ophthalmic medical technician's assist. This is a tongue twister of a sentence. Ophthalmic medical technicians assist physicians who specialize in eye care. That is a tongue twister of a sentence. That might include conducting eye exams or working with patients learning to care for contacts and glasses and whatnot. Median salary is $36,530. Unemployment rate is 1.1%. I don't know what that means. So people that want to be that job, that many, like only 1.1% of them aren't getting it. Expected new job opening. Oh, okay. And it seems like it's growing too. People have eyes. Paralegal. That's like someone that works behind the scenes doing research and administrative work on legal documents and preparing legal stuff. Typically, paralegals have an associate's degree, though many firms and but they say a lot of places want bachelor's. So I bet you maybe if you have experience, maybe it's easier to get away without it. But still, they're saying bachelor's is becoming more of a thing. Insurance sales agent. I guess anything sort of sales. Real estate, you don't really need to go to college. You can make good money in real estate. Or like selling cars, you could do that. You don't need a college degree for that, do you? All that stuff, MRI technologist, $71,000. That's pretty good. That's the median salary. A lot of technologists at hospitals. Radiology, a plumber's on the list. Median salary is $53,000. You need to go to technician school and get a certificate, of course, but it doesn't require college. Nail technician, that does not make a lot according to this. That was $24,000. Environmental engineering technician, that sounds kind of cool and kind of depressing of a job too. After earning associate's degrees, these workers carry, and I feel like though they say associate's degree, whenever I hear associate's degree, I feel like they probably prefer bachelor's degree. So I'm not saying you can't make a living without college. But when I hear this list, it does sound like even when I hear this list of jobs, and that was just some of them, but even when I hear this list of jobs that don't require a college degree, it definitely seems like it wouldn't hurt for a lot of them, you know?
Oh, right. I think
you don't need it, but it's a bonus.
I think the key here, Jared, is I think any successful career that you'll have, there is some type of training or education. Doesn't necessarily mean a 4-year university, but some type of training or certification or something like that. Trying to figure out which is best
you need
for you.
Prove some sort of proof that you know stuff.
Right.
And that's why I also think that like sometimes when it says you only need an associate's degree, I mentioned that I bet you're
making more if you have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, and the people that have associate's degree might get by because they have more experience. So maybe they spend a longer amount of time not making much money, but now they have 10 years of experience. So that supersedes the not having college at this point. But maybe I feel like it would take longer to get to that point without the degree. Then
Very true.
And it's just no one's just a natural expert in anything for the most part, and so you need to prove that you know some shit. Prove it, huh?
That's right.
All right.
Show me the paper.
Let's go on to the song of the pod.
That's right.
Very fitting because I will be in Paris soon. And not to brag, but I know. Do you know what the song means in English? Because I do.
Forget
what the title of the
everything.
Song means
right?
Yeah. Interesting that you say that. Because the way I would have thought it would be is totally forgot.
Oh, okay. Could also be right.
Not forget everything. Because I think oublier is past tense. But anyway, the song is called Tout oublier by... I don't have it up in front of me. Who's it by? I just remember what it's called.
I don't have it up in front of me either.
Because I've been listening to it like 6,000 times. I mean, why would either of us be prepared, Chad? Why would we? It's by Angèle featuring Romeo Elvis.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic song. Super catchy.
And they do have great shoulder popping in it.
Oh yeah, that's the key. Just the subtle shoulder popping.
It is a great song, and it's just about totally forgetting, because that's what I think it means. Totally forgot, not forget anything or everything or whatever you said.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
You know
one.
what? I did say I was going to come with Italian words of the pod because I'm going there soon, and I will. A little part of me feels like I should focus on the French because I kind of know French and Italian. I was at work today, and my boss was telling me how you say something in Italian, and I was just the way he pronounced it. I was like, that sounds really hard.
What did he say?
I feel like I don't even remember. I have no idea but he just like rolled his R's, and I was like, oh, that's how you pronounce that. But I don't even remember what it is.
I wish I would have seen your
idea.
face after he said whatever word that was.
And I think it also bummed me out because I was thinking about the trip, and I was like, I mean, I can't learn this in 2 months. At least I have some. Even though I suck at French, I have some sort of base.
Right. That makes a big difference for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think I'm done with Spanish words of the pod, as I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned that earlier. But I will start coming with Italian words of the pod, or maybe French words. One of the two.
You got one for today?
I want to at least. No. I think didn't I tell you that at the beginning of this episode? I feel like I did. Yeah, because I told you that at the beginning of this episode.
My bad.
Give me a second. I guess I could have pulled one up in all this time I was talking. Je tout oublié. There you go.
There we go. Nice. Very fitting.
I totally forgot.
Very fitting.
But yeah, so I want to brush up on that. So I'm going to start coming with those soon.
Well, Jared, I have some exciting...
And I guess the first one I give you will be in Michigan. I'm very excited
I have some exciting news, though. In a few days, I will have a new... So in an episode or two, I will have a new language for the word of the pod. Because I think I'll have an idea of where I might be going come August.
Oh my gosh. Now that, Chad, is how you leave a cliffhanger on an episode.
So there we go. I think that's where we'll leave it for today, huh?
Yes.
I guess just to recap, though, of today's main segment, whether or not college is right for you, it's a complicated question, but I think Jared makes it very easy to answer. Do you want to go? Will it help your career? And are you going to make some more money if you get that college degree? So keep that in mind. And
you betcha.
The other key is just make sure you have some way to prove that you know some stuff. You got some skills, whether that be a college degree, a certification, anything like that. So we hope this was a helpful episode for all of you out there thinking about college. Or are wondering, I went to college and why did I do this? Maybe Jared and I made you feel a little bit better about some of the positives of going to college. So, with that being said, let us know how you thought college was, or if you're planning on going, at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Check out our Instagram page, Untranslatable Podcast, for some college-themed pictures. No, I'm not sure if we have those up, but I'm sure I can dig up a couple of Jared and I from college. That's for sure. Definitely in Austria. That wouldn't be a problem. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So, as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, muchas gracias. 谢谢.